Hello and welcome as it is the completion of the 28th day of December 2020. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and of the like within each his own risk and most certainly their own reward. And that's been the name of the game with a lot of these cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin in a tremendous uptrend right now. But over the very short term, which is really the last couple of days, it has really been in this sideways channel. And sideways, you also can make a case of symmetrical lower highs and higher lows as they've been still in play. And the lower highs, just what a phenomenal run this has been thus far within this market. Just key levels I drew up quick, or I calculated quickly. If the next key levels lower 25,000 and 23,000 and change, 23,200, I think it was 250. Anyway, so that's just whatever. I'm not like I'm trading any of that, but that's just what I calculate. Just I'm trying to think. Yeah, do I feel like doing Fibonacci? And I calculate it, but I don't feel like doing it. With that being said, the price action is going to have to break to one side or another, and getting above this little range in here. You have key low, key high, then you have part of the correction, then you leave the correctionary phase, and amongst it, you can see in the 1 hour had an attempt to get above the 18 average in here. When you take a look at this, say on the a 4-hour term time frame, you can start to see that would be an interesting situation because it endured about, but right now it's on like period number 7 or 8 amongst the 18 average. So it's been in a good correctionary mode. So you see it starting to leave here. 27,000 slots, so 20 all sevens. To me is the intermediate term level where, hey, this run is not over yet. And as far as the volume is concerned, I don't see any monster volume that exceeds most of the ones that from the days before. That would indicate to me that more times than not, when you're having a very spectacular move in one direction, in this case up, in more cases up as well, that it's going to end in a high on usually the day of, or the period that is of the high, where the biggest volume will come into play. Sort of like, I guess. Well, this on the bottom, of course, was the case, but... And was it the case in here in 2017? Did high volume come in? It came in a little after the fact, but that's just something you have to keep in mind. It's not always going to be a sure sign, and back then, of course, it was not. But just, it has had a good break above this level of resistance. Monthly term, of course, most spectacular excitation amongst the 18 average of highs. And on the weekly term time frame, there's only, and they don't even really count too much, been 2 red candles down since October the 5th week. And the worst weeks have been 1.3% down and 1.13% down. The last time the market has had any type of move worse, and it was 12% down, but worse than 2% down, takes us to August. So it is overextended. There is nothing to deny the fact, and it's going to be having a price correction at some point. Is that some point near 30,000, 40, 60, 100? Right now, it's the high is in at 28,378. And of course, that high was pretty much a couple of days ago. And I want to go through the rest of them relatively quickly, and I still want to cover gold and silver at the end as well. And within Theta, which has been holding well so far amongst the price of Bitcoin, which is spectacular in itself, given how many altcoins are not faring too well against that of BTC. But holding in there right now amongst the 18 average of highs and above the key Fibonacci that it resisted on several occasions in here. And the price action down from the high on December the 26th midday. Seeing the price go down, not quite to fib, but it resisted first this fib line on December 27th at 20 hours. Okay, and did it break that anywhere when it was correctionary phase in here? No, rather it broke out at the 13-hour stamp on today's Monday session, and today all day it's been holding and staying above that line thus far. Had a little breakout attempt at 1900 hours, obviously not holding on from there. But this is, and I'm going to talk about the same thing with Tesla's coming up forward, but this is also a case of a lot of coins at this time going down against Bitcoin just over the last few hours. And I'm just going to verify this against that of BTC dominance. I haven't even taken a look at this, but I'm guessing over the last few hours it's been going up. And yeah, you can see how to break it here at 1700 hours. So I'll take a look at this quickly. And because it's been obviously an uptrend, most certainly, as Bitcoin has been rising. We still haven't seen, and will it happen? We'll see. I think it will, but If it does, the altcoin's going up, that means this would go down at one point. Will this stop going up? Meaning it's been a big move down all the way to that high that I've talked about so many times in January 2018. And then a rally up to this point, and of course it is now retesting it right now. So can it go up and hold and stay above these levels? Can it go up and then not hold it, which would be more of the likely scenario if it were to do so? But it is in a situation where we're seeing the hold amongst this move and the correctionary phase from the September 2019 highs and, well, the September of this year lows is gotten pretty much almost all of it back. So that's got to give you indication that it's definitely live to go up and make a leg higher, which to me, looking at this, would be somewhere near 80 or 70 something. But will it happen? I think there's going to be a time when these altcoins are just going to go so crazy and amazing to the upside that this is just going to, wherever that this price happens to be, is going to be falling at decent size rates. All right, so that's the Bitcoin dominance. Let's take a look at Litecoin against the dollar, 127 right now. As it continues to hold and stay within this key Fibonacci line, it has now resisted it exactly on 2 exact days, pretty much for 3 on December 26th, 27th, and 28th. As it managed to hit it, well, 3 different times amongst the hourly term time frame, as it came up to it at 1 o'clock in the morning on December 27th, and after a decent sized pullback to, and the lowest it hasn't seen this low since, to 122, even a little bit below it. But it retested again a few hours later at 9 o'clock in the morning on December 27th, and then again at 6 o'clock in the morning on today's Monday session. Unable to get above in this session around 14, 15, 16 hours as it was rallying from the 18 lows. It hits the highs. But you can see over the 4 periods from 1,500 hours through that of 18, how it was just showing the weakness amongst the lows. Has had this one little break down up to the 18 highs, starting to see it fall down. I've got to believe that this level of support is not going to hold, and we're going to probably see 122 on the very short-term time frame. And what we see at that point there, we'll see, because it's, to me, one of those now what situations from that point. And yeah, that's Litecoin, and it's been interesting against the Bitcoin too, as it's been just so choppy, and a lot of violent, wild moves within it, as we can. Just seeing this on the daily term, just a lot of these up and down, interesting, choppy moves that have occurred. It gives a lot of great volatility. For high volume would be occurrence if you're looking for different types of buy low swing highs or buy low sell high. As the markets go down, you put buy orders, markets go high, you put sell orders in, and they just keep flipping back and forth. And when that's the case, you can make some decent sized gains. But amongst such, you're getting this decent sized volatility for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% moves or something, or whatever else lower, because that's pretty much all you're able to get. And that's that of Litecoin. Now let's take a look at Tezos, because it's a very interesting one right now. I think it's got a very good setup right now. Take a look at Ripple as well. But Tezos amongst the 4-hour term time frame is now on period number 3, holding a staying above the 18 average of highs. And that was after it sustained 6 periods of holding within the 18 average after it had an hour where it made 11.4% on Sunday morning. And it's been, of course, nothing but lower highs and lower lows. Amongst a single hour term time frame, it made this high 11 o'clock in the morning. It kind of retested it again at 5 o'clock in the morning the next day. And then from that point, it has a very good correctionary move. And then exitation on Monday at noon Eastern time, when I give times, which is New York and Toronto, Florida, that it finds this resistance here has been support today, which is a very interesting situation, still holding well within it. It had a small opportunity getting above the 18 average of highs at 1900 hours, and I got to think that this is definitely live going in today's session, Tuesday, Wednesday, as potential for significant gains that can come into play. And of course, I hope it does. There was a time when these markets were in these up areas. I'm like, oh my goodness, please go down. And oh my goodness, has it ever. Now I'm at the stage where please go up. If it keeps going down, great, because I got a buy order ready to go against Bitcoin. So I kind of do hope it actually goes down to 600, because I got a buy order ready to go at that level, or 6,000, I rather should say, because it looks like it's 789 Satoshi, but there's actually 7 decimals. It's 7,890 Satoshi. So I got a buy order near 6,000. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, these things are going to go off at some point. It's just going to be, how do you do? Things are amazing. And for that of Ripple, which will be the next one, it's down 7% just since 7 p.m. Eastern time, or the last 3 hours and 15 minutes. As ever since this, really right here at December 22nd, leaving from 2,300 Satoshi, it was as high as even 3,000 and change recently, now down to 846. And I mean, large down days, down 40% after it was down 17% the day before. The last 5 days, not including today, 10% down, 13% down, 2.8% down, 15% down on Monday thus far. So that's why I'm not counting today. It's down 8% on that of Tuesday. And of course, the day can continue on going. And this could easily keep going down. And I'm fine with it. In fact, a lot of times when you're holding investments, you're like, oh, crap, man, this sucks. Market's going down. I welcome this monstrous volatility because this gives me opportunities to make trades, to buy low, sell high. And it's either going to work or it's not going to work. I mean, maybe Ripple just goes down to the trash and it's going to be problems within its company and all the whole things going on with the legal issues, the SEC. But I actually believe that there's a damn good chance that Ripple knows what the hell that they're doing. And they're going to work things out. They're going to sort these matters out. There's just going to be times where this thing is just going to be, oh my goodness, a day where it might be up 2, 3, 4, 5, 600% in one day. And it doesn't matter to me what day it is. It could be tomorrow, it can be next week, it could be 4 months from now, or even a year. If I see it on that day that, oh, we got these great gains, it'll be like, okay, I'll withdraw how many? Withdraw to the exchange, sell it off for other coins, and then withdraw those other coins to my hardware wallet. It's basically what I do. That's Ripple. As far as let's just take a look at Ripple in the short term here on the hourly term time frame, because it's almost at the time I have to redraw these. Where were these lines drawn in from? They would have just been renewed. What was this low in here? This low is 943. Yes, I'll redraw them later. But the most likely scenario here is that Ripple's going to keep going lower. Next up, a short term, and then of course there's going to be a time again. I think it's just going to be a magnificent move, to say the least. Silver. The trend continues on the daily term, as far as just having a good bullish setup in here. And amongst it, we'll see what ends up happening, but holding and supporting in here, this level of resistance. It just looks to me as in the very, very near term, 28 change is going to be a test. How it reacts to that test, don't know. To me, I look at stuff like silver as far as the long term is concerned. What's the chances that silver as an investment ultimately is a failure? Thus, it doesn't hold its value. And it's just a failure. And long term, several years, decades from now, many, many decades, and I have to think, no way. Bitcoin, well, maybe way. Yeah, maybe way. Have you ever heard that before? I just thought about that recently. Yeah, I don't think it will. At least as far as Bitcoin. Actually, short term, I don't think it will. I mean, Bitcoin, just going back on that again, as I've been saying for years, I expect one leg higher, at least one more leg higher to occur, which is like 60, 80, 100, 200, whatever. At least around 60,000, and it's on its way doing that now, being at 27. And silver, there's just going to come a time. It's going to break this level of resistance. And how do you do? 60, 70, 80, 120, 130. Now what? Question mark. Because I believe that'll be a significant resistance level. And then there'll be a time where we'll hit 4 figures, and then I don't even think it'll be done after that. But what's the big reason for getting into Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, silver, and gold, and things like that? And a lot of it is what it's priced in. Fiat currency, backed by practically nothing. And it's centralized by central bankers, and in both cases of Canada and the United States, central bankers that are not even government agencies within the Bank of Canada and that of the Federal Reserve. And then when You have funds in your account. It's like accounts receivable, yada, yada, yada. Gold, of course, is in a good up run. Holding now for about 3-4 months. Supporting a level of ultimate resistance, which was the resistance from November here and then September of 2012, or 2011 to 2012. And it already pierced microscopically above the previous all-time highs. That's in a new one. And yeah, I think gold is in just a phenomenal situation. It's got to get like to our 2000. And yeah, that would be just magnificent. But you're not going to hear too much, I don't think, amongst the mainstream media. And this goes, I think, for both gold and Bitcoin. And a long ways away for that for silver, until it's noticeably above all-time highs of a long time ago. And a long time ago here is, let's go back to the monthly. This is in here. So last time was gold. I can't remember exactly, but probably whenever gold would have been really started talked about a lot when it hit 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Noticeable leg above the 1980 resistance. Now it's got to be a noticeable leg above here. So I would have to think not until near 3,000 would you start to see gold start to become a very decently higher trend topic amongst the whole global mass base. Bitcoin, I even have to think closer to 40,000 to 60,000. Then it would also be more closer to 60 than 40, but at least to 40 maybe. And it will become a much more larger talked about situation. But when you look at just things about, again, why you're into it, and you look at decade by decade, and whether you say the new decade is starting in a few days or we're going into the second year, I'm going to basically say we're going into the second year. Either way. In the decade of the tens, the information to what a fiat currency was widely available throughout the internet. And not many people on the start of that decade had an idea. They were very much early into the situation of monetary policy and all those types of things within that level. And there's more so today than there was before. And you really can't undo that information once you know it. It's just something that can't be undone. The previous decade, the zeros, as I like to call it, since I never ever heard anyone given a name. I was kind of wondering through the 90s, what name are they going to give? It's going to be the 10s and the 20s and 30s after that, and they didn't even really say the 10s. That's the name I gave it to. I'm going to call the next decade the 20s. That's a creative name. Okay, anyway. Or this decade is the 20s. The next one I'll call the 30s. 40s, then 50s, and so on. But with that being said, the zeros, and the year 2000, I had no idea what a fiat currency was, and very, 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 very few people did. And in the 90s and 80s, the 90s, there pretty much was no internet at the start. And when when the decade ended in 1999, the internet was still pretty much a baby. Although I was experienced on it for several hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of days at that point, as I became full-time on the internet in the spring of 97. And then we've been on the dollar standard since start of the 70s, end of the 60s, temporarily off the gold standard and all that type of stuff. And all of those different reasons. And then you consider how much has actually been printed and created and how it's been done. What's the chances of survival rate for a fiat currency to stay alive into this decade, the 20s, and if it can survive the 20s, well, into the 30s? I don't like its chances. So thus, holding other assets not related to banking, to the banking system, not related to a fiat currency, which makes stocks very problematic, as it's priced in that of dollars. Although if you ratio trade one stock with another, you can trade like Amazon and Google and whatever, this company, that company together. But even still, you can't hold your stocks in any type of private wallet of any sort and have your own private keys with them, at least not as of December 28th, 2020. I hope someday in the future it can, but it's still thus related to a financial banking asset. You could have stocks and then issues within the brokerage firm that you have could most certainly come into play. And that is a big thing. So other than that, you got precious metals, physical gold and silver that you can hold, which to me is why I like to think, yeah, it's like almost, I'm not going to say it's a guarantee for gold and silver, but it kind of is for me. That's why I say, yeah, no way that it's going to lose. Yes way that the fiat currency system is going to lose. I have to say probably way for Bitcoin. And maybe way for the altcoins on the long term, for some of them. But you know what? I think that it's just, to me, why would I not hold all of these miscellaneous different items? As if I was extremely bearish on all these things I talked about, like precious metals, cryptocurrencies, and fiat, I still have to hold all of them, and I do. And I am bearish, of course, on fiat currencies, but you still have to hold some. Always going to be buying opportunities, and it's, of course, your legal tender you have to buy things with today. But if you're bearish on Bitcoin, and you have been for so long, well, how have you been feeling? And, well, just in case you could have had some, and, well, just in case. And then in the situations where the case works out, then how do you do? Gold and silver, same thing. And you think you could be whatever type of company, whether the smallest or biggest. And if you don't have a little bit of cryptocurrencies and precious metals amongst your fiat currencies in your, as far as company assets, why not? If I was like a monster company, I'd be thinking, how do I mint my own gold and silver coins? How do I create my own cryptocurrencies? I would literally be thinking that. In fact, I've thought about creating my own cryptocurrency and starting my own business. And of course, cryptocurrency would be the legal tender. I can't say legal tender. It would be my currency that I would let the market determine what the value would be for an idea I would have. Basically, it'd be competing against other major fantasy sports sites. And that's how I want to finish this off, is within sports. As it is, again, December the 28th, and only a little over a couple of weeks until the start of the National Hockey League season. I'm hoping it's going to be a little more of a busier schedule than I had before in the regular season. I didn't do as many videos when the playoffs were on during the months of August and September, but I can guarantee you that the hockey schedule will not be as busy as then, because they put it to maximum schedule. And I love that because it was profitable. I'm hoping there's a lot of afternoon games, thus I can have action during the day and at night. It could mean, and probably will mean, less of these financial chart-related videos, but it's also going to be more sport-related videos too, especially hockey. I want to crush the number as far as the sports betting is concerned. I started off like with 100 picks. I'm 1-1, but I'm profiting because I hit like a plus 380 last weekend, or just a few days ago, with the over on a tight end to get some catches, and it worked. I made some I was going to stay, and I was right. I mean, one game's not even over as I'm doing this, but I thought, you know what, lay the hammer on Tampa and Buffalo this week. Tampa wins by like 7 million points. No, they won by like 40 or something. And Buffalo's leading 31-9 with 14 seconds left in the third quarter as I'm doing this video. And I figured these were just two ultimate games that were going to be one-sided. I mean, I didn't care about the road. I mean, especially, the 2020 season makes it easier to play road teams, but it was just one of those. And I didn't make those bets, but I mean, I could have, and I probably should have. But the whole thing is trying to be able to come up with that. And I feel being in the hockey realm, and I'm so damn good at that sport anyway. And there's so many times, like there was like hammer bets, as I like to call it. And I figured both Tampa and Buffalo were hammer style bets that during the playoffs, rather, even regular season, both of them combined, there was like probably like 20, 25 times where I'm like, this is a hammer bet. And I mean, it was extremely would have been amazing if I would have been like 20 wins, 5 losses or something. So I want to be able to just come out and see if I can actually do that. And it's always about risk reward management, trying to get. And if I can get to the spot where I'm taking like plus 180, and it can be easy in hockey with a goal and a half spread. But if I can get a lot of plus 150, plus 200, plus 300s that I can find that are just extremely profitable, that's just how you win at the game too. And it's always about risk reward management, ensuring, of course, as an advantage gambler, that you put in the efforts and basically the situations that ensure you to be an advantage gambler, where you should expect to be profiting over the long-term time frame. And I know in charts, I know a lot of you guys don't even give a crap about sports and everything. I don't blame you. But it's things like market trading, day trading. And I don't do much of this myself, and I realize there's so many different ways where you can just come out and you can just make like tremendous gains, and just play by playing around the market here and there as it is. So as it goes, I will end this video with yet another decent sized video. But yeah, tomorrow. What else is going on for tomorrow? It's Tuesday. So I don't know. Nothing. I'm expecting it to be an interesting day. I don't know. I'm just this. I don't know. I hate to do this whole woo-woo stuff. There's something in my head that's thinking something weird is going to happen, but I don't want to go in. I mean, I don't know. It's all I can. I know just as much as you do, but I feel something big, market-wise. We'll see. I mean, probably not, because I like to try to avoid like instinctual, spiritual kind of thoughts, but and go more on a statistical based level. So I'm hoping that nothing big happens. I'm like, yeah, well, not much went on. I was wrong. But just now in the last few minutes as I'm in this video, I'm just having this thought in my head that something, I don't know, trying to translate what I'm feeling. And anyway, take care. Bye-bye.